Hi guys, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you the difference that 20 to 25 pound can make to your hotel room. I'm comparing two hotels. You'll have to forgive me, there's a guy walking around outside here talking to himself. He's still talking to himself, but he's right in front of the van. I don't think he's got an earpiece in. But yeah, I'm going to compare these two hotels and for the sake of £25 extra, show you the difference of what you can get. It's not always the case. And these two hotels might seem quite extreme in the comparison. But they're both quite old, but it just shows you what can happen when you've got a nice place and you look after it, and the difference between potentially a nice place and you just let it go to rack and ruin. So stick with me. I'll show you the rooms. I'm going to show you some of the hotel that I can get footage of. Apologies, I'm filming on my phone again. I've forgotten to bring my camera away with me. But stick around. I'm going to show you some of the best bits that you can get. Hang around to the end. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see. I might do some more comparisons again. I don't like just reviewing one hotel at a time. But stick around to the end and I'll show you some of the better bits of this hotel. And we'll maybe see about doing some more. The man's now dancing. I'm talking to himself. Anyway, speak to you soon. Hiya, welcome back again. I've not done a video in a while. Been busy. Travelling the UK as I normally do. I'm always a bit funny about reviewing hotels, but because a lot of the time they're normally all right, and I'm not going to pick fault in something for the sake of it. A lot of the times these places are in remote locations. I don't want to upset them. They don't do anything wrong. Things might not be up to scratch, and I'm also going to sometimes stay in them again as well. I'm in Birmingham at the minute, and I've been into my room, and apparently it's getting refurbished, but I'm going to show you that in a minute when I go back in. But yeah, what I've seen so far is I've gone into my room and I can hear loads of voices of people chatting on phones or chatting to friends who they're staying with, and yeah, I can hear at the back, at the bathroom window, there's like windows open all over the place. It's quite warm. It's where are we? We're at the end of April. So we've had Easter. It's warmed up a little bit. There's a bit of a heat wave coming on this week. But I can hear voices out the back there through the windows and stuff, just chatting and stuff. And the weird thing is, I'm in Birmingham, but most of the people that I can hear are Brummies, which is a little bit odd. Now, if I was working local, I wouldn't be, you know, why are the Brummies? Why are Brummies staying in Brummie hotels? So it makes me wonder whether there are people staying here who live here, whether they've got some sort of government contract thing going on. I'm not quite sure. But you wouldn't normally get locals staying in local hotels. It's not the greatest looking hotel. I pulled up on the front, it looked shut. There was maybe 3 cars out the front. I looked at the reception and all 4 doors of reception had smashed windows, and it looked like there was no lights on. I went up to reception. There was a bell to ring, so I rang the bell. There was 2 bells. I rang them both. There was no answer. I looked through the window. It looks like it's just a bit. It looks like they're not using that entrance anymore. I started to walk along a little bit with my bag on the outside, and I saw a sign saying reception this way, and I passed two doors saying reception on the front, and then there was another sign saying round the side. So I thought, jump back in my vehicle, drive around the corner. Lo and behold, found a few more vehicles round the back, and there's like a side entrance with a reception. Walked into reception. To be fair, the inside breakfast area didn't look that bad. They'd maybe put a bit of effort into that. The reception itself looked a bit tatty. The carpet looks a bit 80s. floral patterns and, you know, paisley sort of patterns on it. But the corridors, when you're walking around, I'll get a video of the corridors as well, walking up there. But it looks like it's been done up at some point, but they haven't been very good at keeping the stains off the carpets. I didn't pay much attention to my bedroom, but the bathroom leaves a bit to be desired. I'm going to see in a little while what it's actually like. I noticed there was a few weird patches on the walls. Whether these be light sockets there or what, I'm not quite sure. But I'm going to show you the inside of the room, and I'm going to show you the staircase going up. I don't think there's a lift. There might be a lift, I don't know. But I got told to go up the stairs. But I'm going to show you when I get inside. I might tell you the name of it at the end of the place. I'm not sure. Again, I don't like ruining reputations, but when places are run on a budget, and to be fair, it was cheap. It was about 40 odd quid. But I'll show you. I'll show you what it's like. But I won't be back. The place stinks of weed as well, to be fair. But anyway. Odd carpet. Let's have a look. Really old-fashioned stairs, this. Here. Let's have a look. Oh, that's a bit weird. Quite easy to fall out that window if it were open. Floor number 2. Yeah. Saying nothing. Don't even know which way I'm going. That's so weird. I hate these mirrors around the place. On the floor as well. Stains all over the place. A tatty door. Can't hear anybody talking at the minute. It was around here somewhere, can't remember which way. Lots of these big massive mirrors. Actually, it's my eyes to look at them. Right. This is me. Big fancy keycard thing. That doesn't work. We're using this. Right, so first impressions of the room. Quite bare. Got a big massive wardrobe. God knows what's in here. A fan. And a safe. It's just like being in Benidorm, isn't it? Right, so from there, let's have a look in the bedroom. Yeah, I noticed some weird marks on the walls. I think it's just... What is that? How do I turn that on? No idea. That works at least. So, around the bed, a lot of chip marks in the walls. Interesting wallpaper. Probably had some sort of lights there and there at some point. Very interesting wallpaper. I'm almost surprised there's no ceiling tiles in here. There's a bit of a period look there from 70s, 80s. TV's not on the wall. It's on some weird. That looks like something you would win for getting number 7 in Bullseye, to be honest with you. Bit odd. Whether it works or not, I don't know. There's an aerial socket there, but there's nothing plugged into it. I don't even know if I'm going to be watching that. It's a Logic TV, which cheap and cheerful. I noticed this earlier. Weird mirrored table, dressing table, matching wooden, matching wooden mirror. Some weird wall light up there. I don't know what that's for. Does that work? Let's see if it works. Weird light socket over the edge. Oh, there is a light there. Yeah, that works. Ooh, look at the wall. I think for the most part we're looking anaglypta wallpaper, which, from what I've heard in recent years, being on health and safety courses, is I think a lot of that's asbestos kind of stuff. You don't often see that in hotels these days. But anaglypta ceiling as well. Maybe that's a good reason why they haven't moved it. Size of the room, pretty decent. Double bed. Very luxurious and romantic. No bedside table on the left, which is fair enough. Old-fashioned, very old-fashioned radiator. The bathroom. First thing that struck me about the bathroom, oh, I love these. Look at them. Tiles to separate the tiles. But there's no, bear in mind that back window is overlooking other windows. It's frosted glass, so you can at least, you can at least see not very much through it, but at least put a blind there. Whether that's some part of the ceiling or something, must have been a hell of a job to tile that. Again, the ceiling's been painted with whatever's been put on underneath, but yeah, that's a bit of a job there to do them. Bath, shower, mixer tap. Sometimes these things work okay, sometimes they just dribble out. Very old and dated bathroom. Tiles, the grout on the tiles is a bit rotten as well. Tiles on the floor, looks okay, probably vinyl flooring. Very old toilet. And again, I can't see anybody through the window over there, but old-fashioned shaving socket. Massive sink. Towel rail. Not heated, it's just a rail. And one of them pull-out mirrors. Don't know if it's going to be... But, I don't know, why do you need a mirror like that? Why do you need a mirror like that when you've got a massive mirror there? Obviously the light probably won't work. Yeah, they probably don't make the bulbs for them, to be honest, anymore. But not the worst place I've stayed in by some stretch. Free shampoo, shower gel, soap, all the usual stuff. But yeah, it's not a bad room, in all fairness. Alright for 40 quid, but again, it's, you know, when you run a hotel like this and it's cheap and cheerful, it's 10 minutes away from my job tomorrow, so at least, oh yeah, what's that for? Don't know what that is, but why not at least just put a bit of wallpaper on, paint over the walls if needs be, just make it look inviting, because all this says to me is do not come here again. You know, you get what you paid for, but you're paying for a bed, you're paying for a reasonable experience, but if you're offering a hotel, you want people to come back to it. What's the point in having them there once and then them never coming back again? At least make the effort to make something basic. Paint it white. Just paint it white. And nobody's going to complain. Nobody's going to notice all the marks on the walls then. That's just my personal opinion. Actually forgot to show you something. The mirrored dressing table. Fair enough, there's a little drawer, but look at that. It's not sharp. Somebody's going to cut the finger on it at some point when it gets worse, but how can you leave it like that? It's just poor, isn't it? Tiny little bin. Done some weird stacking system with the milk. Fair play to them. They've got to amuse themselves somehow. But yeah, that's a weird tray. Weird tray table. Won't complain. But yeah, don't leave a room like that. It's disgusting. Talking of painting, I just noticed something else. Look at that. Where's that cable going? That's going outside the window. What's that? Is that the aerial? But the window's shut. What's going on? I don't even know what that is. On the other side, I noticed it here. Look at that. How bad is that? You've got some sort of silicone over the back. But look at that. Big massive gouge in it. And a load of paint there. Or plaster or what. God knows what. It's all over the window as well. Pretty dirty. That's terrible. That really is bad. That just shows a complete lack of effort in doing your job. Not good enough. Sorry it's a bit noisy. This is the second hotel in Mollington and Astra, on the outskirts of Chester, literally about 5-10 minutes away from the centre of Chester. You can see at the front of it is a little bit, they've obviously added rooms on in the past, but behind it you can see that there's an old building that's been there for many more years. They've added on to the back as well, but this is the better hotel. I'm going to show you what's inside here. Now this isn't a bad room at all. Compared to last night where I stayed, this isn't bad, is it? Quite a big bed there, big footstool. We've got, it's a little bit old-fashioned, but like solid wood wardrobes. Huge space, ironing board. You know, pretty decent. Old, it's a bit like last night, they had old furniture, but the old furniture there was knackered. This is just kind of maybe a little bit worn, but because it's good quality from yesteryear, it lasts a lot better. I don't know, maybe they'll varnish that one day. But yeah, you can't really, I'm trying to zoom out, you can't really make out the size of the room. I'm going to go in the corner again. But it's a huge room. It's a double bed. Again, to be fair, the furniture to the most part matches. You know, it's got a lot of browns, it's got a lot of pinks. Old sort of elephant pictures. And then there's a different one over there. That probably points to some part of history of the hotel, maybe. I don't know. A couple of city chairs there. Look a little bit worn, but they look comfortable enough. It'd be all right to do a bit of work there with a laptop or something. Side units at the side of the bed are decent. Can't complain about them, really. I bet the lamps both work as well. Lamp test. Blinding myself. I did wonder. I keep touching the bases of the lamps in the expectation that there might be one of these touch lamps, but that one was. I'm guessing this one is as well. Yeah. I don't know what the bulb is in there. It's about 3,000 watt. I think it's really bright, that. I'll try and turn it off. But yeah, nice. You can tell it's had a lot of money spent on it at a certain point in time, and it's probably been left to go. It's been left in situ for a while, you know, but because it's good quality, it lasts. TV, that's the sort of thing you used to see on Facebook selling pages all the time for 10 quid. People used to love them. Glass with a load of shells where you could put your video recorder and your DVD player on, but people don't need that anymore. They've just got a little stick and a smart TV. Hisense TV. Standard brand. Anyway, we'll move into the bathroom. Bit of a quirky bathroom. I mean, again, hang on. Ceiling. It's a bit tatty. You know, I mean, just check out the chandelier. A couple of bulbs missing out of it, but it was a grand place at some point, this, you can tell. I mean, when you look at the front, I'll do a video of the front as well during the daytime, but you can tell it looks a bit sort of 60s, 70s on the front, if I'm being honest. Brickwork and stuff like that, but somebody spent some money on this place at some point, and because they spent some good money on it back in the day, then look at the posts at the side of the bed. You know, that's a grand sort of bedstead, that headboard. You don't see things like that. But because they've spent some good money on the place, it's actually lasted. So even when the furniture's a bit dated, it's still solid stuff. So, bathroom. Weird old diagonal pedestal sink, but massive. Floor's all laminated, which is decent. Clean. Big mirror. Curtains in front of the window, unlike last night's room. Been a beautiful day today. Hopefully we get some sunshine shots tomorrow. Nice picture in there, on the wall in there. The walls are all clean. Tiles are clean. The walls are all clean and painted. Again, probably quite old, but they painted it to keep it tidy. They keep it tidy. Working vent as well for a change. Big bath. Space for putting all your shampoos and stuff. Yeah. Next to tap shower. That'll probably still work alright as well, no doubt. But again, everything's clean, it's all tidy. It's maintained. That's the difference. A lot of places don't maintain hotel rooms. They don't bother. They just let them go to rack and ruin, and they're happy collecting 40 quid a pop here, there and everywhere. You know, and that's all they want. But I've got to say, I'm very impressed with this room, and considering last night I was at a room in Walsall. I'm going to put the video up for that one as well. But that's a perfect example of how you had a big hotel, probably a decent enough location, not far from the M6. But they're charging £40 a room, £45 a room, and they've done absolutely nothing to maintain the place or to modernise it or make it look nice and make people want to come back to it. But something like this, I mean, I'm on the outskirts of Chester. I'm probably about 3 or 4 miles from the centre of Chester. And you can bet your bottom dollar, come summertime when people are coming to visit like they do with York, these old medieval cities, this place will be able to charge what it wants. but it still looks a beautiful room, and I'm really impressed with it. Can't complain with that, can you? Right, it's one of the best parts of this hotel. There's outside there, nice little seating area. Going out there in a minute. Got behind a little chair right on the edge. Go for a little swim in there. Jacuzzi, sauna, squash courts over there, and gym at the far end. Decent, eh? £60 a night, that, and you get all that for free. Just walk in, grab your towel, and you go. Happy days.